Hi, Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the Chris Voss Show. Hey, we're at CEDIA 2019. We're at booth number 519 at Wilson Pro Cell Signal Amplifiers, and we're here talking with Dave Donald, who runs everything for. He runs almost everything, not everything. What do you do here?
I'm responsible for the entire CI channel. So I've been doing this in the industry for about 35 years, and just joined Wilson to be able to work in cell phone propagation and amplification.
You're a cell phone propagator. Oh my gosh.
Feel better?
Yeah. Now, for those of you in our audience, the Chris Voss Show is reviewing a number of the products that are owned by Wilson Pro, WeBoost specifically. We've done a number of those over the years, so be sure to search for WeBoost on the Chris Voss Show. You'll be able to see all the great products Wilson helps make. So what are you guys doing at the show this year?
Well, we're showing off a number of products that we have either upgraded or they're brand new developments that we brought to the show. The 1100 is the most popular right now. We can't keep that on the shelf. It's a brand new product designed for applications where you may have 8,000 square feet of residential space that you want to be able to cover. It allows a single antenna to come in from outside the house, and then we can distribute that to up to 4 antennas inside the house, covering basically every square inch of the property. One of the things we found is that cell phone signal in the house is a problem for about 80% of the people out there, and they've just learned to live with it. They don't care. It's like you having to reboot your computer 4 times a week. You shouldn't have to, but nonetheless, people just learn to live with it. And our biggest challenge is not a competitor, because frankly, we lead the industry. The biggest challenge we've got is how in the world do we get people to be aware of the solution? And that's really what we're about out here.
And in the testing we've done of your guys' products, we always test them with a little, I think it's a decibel meter or something that tests the signals. And we've always found that it makes a huge, I think it's like 20 to 30%, or no, if not more. It depends on the product, depends on our signal, of course, where we're at too, as well, that we're getting from the tower. But it makes a huge difference. And I know you guys make a lot of products for with WeBoost thing for fleet vehicles, company vehicles. I mean, just if you're a person, like you live in California, you pretty much live in your car. Being able to do business calls, being able to do business, get data signals, it's super important. And the worst thing you can do, we've all had that feeling when you're mobile, or even when you're in your house or office, everyone's on their cell phone now. You're on that business call trying to close that deal, and the phone drops. Oh. And they're just like, well, maybe he doesn't want our money.
Well, no, and once again, it has become our life. I mean, your phone is so critical to people. And how many people are there that are working out of their homes, where cell phone signal in the home is not only for their residential use, it's also their business? I know my office is in my home, my wife's office is in her home. How in the world would you survive without it if you didn't have cell signal? So now the WeBoost side of the business is interesting because yes, we've got a whole 12-volt series, which is used for, as you mentioned, fleet vehicles, automobiles, RVs. It's huge in that end. But then we also have, under the WeBoost name, a number of DIY products, things that people could buy and set up in their home. But what we're focusing on here is Wilson Pro, because we're dealing with CEDIA integrators who are creating solutions for their customers, and that's really what we do. The 1100 I mentioned, but we also have some incredible units that are on the enterprise side that could do something as large as a hospital or a university. And we've got a lot of people on this side of the business who are now beginning to do light commercial on a fairly regular basis. So we've got solutions that run the gamut, literally from a small area to hundreds of thousands of square feet.
And I imagine most business and stuff now, they've got to have the technology built in their thing. I remember when we had huge offices back in the day, we had to run hardwire everywhere to have our telemarketing units. But now, no one's really, I don't know anybody who buys like big phone, what do they call those things, the landline phones? Everyone's working on their cell phone. Everyone's doing business on their cell phone. They have this company-issued cell phone. So having these in the office is probably really important to make sure you're maintaining your business for your company.
It is, and there's a lot of people that when they started using their cell phones, decided maybe they would use VoIP, right? We'll go ahead and just use internet calling in order to make this happen. And the problem with that is, it is so undependable. There are so many times when the internet call, I mean, literally, you could get a phone call that's on a scale of 1 to 10 at a 9, and you love it. And the very next call you make is at a 2. Yep. And you can get latency, and there's nothing worse than latency in a phone call when you're trying to talk and the other guy's trying to talk back on top. You've been there before?
I've been there in deals before, and you're just like, I'm going to kill this deal.
Yeah, exactly. So, and not only that, but if you were going to be doing, internet calling inside the house and then walk out and get in your car, you're not thinking about it. There's just a lot of reasons why cell phone propagation inside the residence is so important.
Yeah, it makes a huge amount of difference. It makes a difference in knowing where your tower is coming from. Let me ask you this. How important is going to be your product with the launching of 5G as it comes to fruition?
It's a great question, and we get it every single day. First of all, 5G is a long ways out. There's a lot of people out there who think it's coming tomorrow. I want to thank AT&T for putting the 5G logo on their phone as though that were going to advance the technology. But nonetheless, the fact is that 5G is about 100 times faster than 4G. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Wouldn't you love to have a signal that's 100 times faster? There's a problem with millimeter wave. You can't broadcast it through a piece of paper. So right now, the furthest Verizon has been able to send it in open air is about 300 feet.
Wow.
So we've got a ways to go as far as 5G is concerned. Now, I will tell you right now, if they begin broadcasting 5G today on the current frequencies, which they are operating on, everything we make would be able to pass that signal. That's not a problem.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, however, as 5G begins to advance and as they begin to use other frequencies, which they have not established, nor have they created standards for, we'll obviously design to it. We can't do that until we have the information. We are very close with all of the carriers and very close with the FCC. So I can guarantee you that if there's going to be a solution out there, Wilson's going to have it.
And 5G is going to bring a huge amount of innovation to companies, what they're doing with robotics and everything else. We've been seeing just all sorts of crazy stuff about how it's going to be revolutionary. And so companies that are developing these products, they're going to need good, your guys' Wilson Pro technology amplifiers so that they can take in, work with their technologies, build their technologies, be on the cutting edge of stuff and faster. What is it for business? Faster, better. That's how you work.
Exactly, absolutely. Well, and the cool thing about it, like I said, it's going to be fantastic for data. It is not going to have a dramatic effect on voice. In fact, voice may never transition off of 4G LTE. So you could be in a situation here in 30 years from now and still have a 4G phone that's doing your voice, and then 5G that's going to be able to handle the data. So.
That's true. Of course, no one seems to use voice anymore except for the robo caller spammers. I don't even answer my phone anymore. People will be like, other people call me, they're like, hey man, I'm trying to do some business with you. You're going to answer the phone? I'm like, oh, I thought you were, calling from India telling me that the IRS is coming to arrest me or something, that sort of thing. It's just out of control, the robo spammers. I just give up. So I'm not even sure why we have voice anymore. And this new generation, they don't call, so they just text. Although I have loved it. It does make a premium for if you're making calls. People actually like talking to you.
Yes.
Like sales, deals. People are actually like, oh my God, a human being wants to talk to me. I remember the old days when, you used to have like massive gatekeepers to get to the buying agent.
Sure.
And you could not get through to that guy. He did not want to talk to you because 5,000 people were calling that day. And nowadays it's kind of a premium. But your guys' cell phone signal is really getting amplified using your guys' product. I've loved it. It's great in the cars. It's great in the RVs. It's great, at the homes. And so people can search those on the Chris Voss Show. Search for the products. You can review all the stuff that we've done. What else do we need to know about what you guys are doing here at the show?
Well, the one message that I really want to get across is to get people that are selling the technology to ask every single consumer they talk to this question. How are you dealing with the poor cell signal inside your home? The amazing thing is we ask that question, 80% of the people have a horror story. I'm totally serious. Yeah, we have to go in my son's bedroom and lean against the wall and hold up one leg, and that's the only way that they can call. Or worse yet, I've got to go outside. I can't make any calls from inside the house. A lot of this has to do with the building materials now being used, high efficiency building materials. Some of the window materials block as much as 70% of the cell signal. It used to be you stood by a window to make a call. Can't do that anymore. So there's a lot of reasons why this makes sense. The cool thing is the consumers, as far as I'm concerned, the consumers don't know about it yet. And the minute we make them aware that there's a solution, it's amazing how fast they scamper to get a hold of it.
It definitely is important. Like every time I move someplace new, I'm like, where's my closest cell tower?
That's about right.
And we all have that experience where like, we have to go in the master bedroom because that's where the best signal is. You got to move, you're walking around waving your phone going, do you have the best signal? But it makes a huge amount of difference. If you get a WeBoost product or a Wilson product, turn it on so the signal is amplifying. And then there's all sorts of free testers you can get on the Play Store or your iPhone store. And you can really test the signal, and it really makes a difference. Anything more we need to know as we wrap up here?
I don't think so. I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, it's Wilson Pro. We're the home of WeBoost. I should say Wilson Electronics. It's the home of WeBoost and Wilson Pro. Again, we handle everything from small applications in automobiles all the way up to massive commercial structures. So if you're looking for a way to create a better cell signal inside that building or inside that automobile, we're the people you need to go to.
Sounds good, guys. Come on back to booth 519. You can find it easily at the show. It's Wilson Pro. They even have one of those big circular signs above us, so it makes it real easy to find it because the numbers here are kind of crazy at the show. But you can see all the wonderful products they have throughout the booth, how it works. Check it out. I think you'll love them. These guys build tank for products that are they just rock and roll when it comes down to it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to watch all the CEDIA show coverage we're doing at the show, and be sure to check out all the booths we've been interviewing as well. Thanks for coming on the show, bud.
You got it, Chris. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, my audience. We'll see you next time.